The MIAP binaural reverb example patch in the examples directory provides another example of how you can use the MIAP panners for things other than multi-channel loudspeaker panning. In this example, I'm using MAP as a control surface for both a binaural encoder, binaural mixer, and a dry to wet convolution reverb control surface that also applies binaural encoding. So what happens here is I've got an inner ring of 24 speaker nodes and a center node, virtual node, that is linked to all of those. So you've got a power preserving mix when you're right in the center. And each of these speaker nodes is one of the first 24 audio outputs in the panner object. Those outputs then go to a convolution matrix, a multi-convolved tilde, which is a great partition-fast convolution external by Alex Harker, that have loaded into them 24 HRTFs from the Earcom Listen database that correspond to the location on this map. So if you're looking down at your head, this is the front, this is moving towards the left and the back and the right and so on. The appropriate HRTFs, when the signal going out of these outputs is passed through the appropriate HRTF, and you have an interpolation, an HRTF interpolation space. And that also allows you to sum them in the middle. The outer ring, the outer several speaker nodes, you can see here, are passing through another convolution matrix. And this convolution matrix has 4 different impulse responses loaded in repeatedly. And this is a convolution reverb. So I've got the space partitioned in 4 parts. The top part has a reverb that is fairly small, and then increasingly larger, larger, and very large as you go to the right. So you've got a dry binaural space, and then increasingly interpolating to a wet binaural space that is also, that is encoding binaurally in the correct location around your head. So as you move from here to here, it's going to go from dry to wet, and then you can fade out with silo nodes on the outside. So a map that is both a binaural encoder and a dry to wet convolution reverb together. Let's listen to it. So we start out here and do that. All right, so in the center you've got a power preserving mix of all 24 HRTFs, so it's kind of like it's in the center of your head in a way. Here's the fronts, moving to the left, back, back up here. And then as we move out of the inner ring, we're adding increasing amounts of the convolution reverb, the impulse response that is placed into that space. So now we're going to get increasingly larger and larger and very large, and still have the ability to kind of go back in and bring forward the dry mix. It's totally dry, totally wet.